You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Wole and Mo are your hosts. Ray Jeezy is out. What's good, Mo? You see, I had to shave the beard, man. You see that? We was talking last week. You see it's gone, man.
Hey, man. You gotta pay up when you know. You gotta pay up when mom's is on the line.
Exactly, man. You gotta be a person of your word. So y'all get the younger looking Wole, you know what I'm saying? With the beard, it was the grizzly looking vet. Now I still got grades in the game, but now I'm more I went from about to retire to a dude now who's on that LeBronish thing, 35. You know what I'm saying? Trying to still be in his prime.
Hey, man. You can still be in your prime, but shout out to mom for winning that wager, man. It means she must have took care of her business. So
she did, man. So I was very proud of her, man. Very proud of her. Very proud. Good. You know what I'm saying? Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search All Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene. Also tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. It's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll talk about Washington acquiring guard Ereck Flowers, and we'll also talk about who we think Washington will draft on Thursday's NFL draft, which goes down actually tomorrow. All right, so Monday, like I mentioned, which was a couple of days ago, Washington acquired guard Ereck Flowers from the Miami Dolphins. They swapped late round picks. He was with the squad in 2019 playing guard. Was very impressive at guard. He was originally with the Giants playing tackle, moved to guard with Washington and did well. Your thoughts on the move, Mo?
I think it's just another way to fortify a team that was on the precipice of, getting where they need to go. Another solid move. I have my own thoughts about Ereck Flowers being a Giants fan, him being a former first rounder that didn't quite work out for us. But I think he found his niche in Washington, right? And we think that I think that everybody can give him kudos for changing the narrative about his career.
Yeah.
And he actually put up solid numbers. Not the solid numbers. He actually put up a solid season.
Yeah.
With the football team a couple years back in 19 before he went off into free agency to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Miami sending him back does alarm me a little bit. I know his season was not as stellar as the season he had in Washington, but Miami also had a young offensive line, right? And he's kind of like a veteran down there amongst the group. I know last year they drafted a tackle from USC, and the rest of the line was, a bit young. And then the year prior to that, they got rid of Laremy Tunsil in that big trade that we know went down with the Texans. So I think there was a revamping of the line down there, and it probably just didn't play into his favor, especially after he signed that 3-year, $30 million contract when he got to Miami. So when you see a free agent get traded after his first year in the contract, it kind of makes you question
definitely
either his ability or what's happening. Either I'm just hoping it was a bad schematic fit, and he can come back and he can do what he needs to do for the Washington football team next year.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought. He was dude, you were just in Miami. So what's really going on? I think any fan have to think that way. Now, granted, he was very popular here in DC. When the year he played, arguably at that particular time, a lot of people thought he was the best offensive lineman on the squad playing guard. He went from you drafted in the first round to be a tackle, and it just didn't work out for him. And there's a lot of individuals that kind of that's happened to. I remember years ago when watching years ago. The Arizona, I think by that time may have been the Phoenix Cardinals, but they drafted a guy named Leonard Davis, and Leonard Davis played left tackle, and it was was supposed to be that dude at tackle, but he never really panned out at tackle, and eventually he played guard. I think he played guard for the Cowboys, and he was pretty much he was one of the better guards in football. So I think that for Flowers, that same thing kind of happened. He went from playing tackle and wasn't good at tackle. Let's be real, he just wasn't good at tackle, and went to guard, and it was played guard at a good level. I don't want to say a high level, but played at a good level. And I like to give credit. I like to give credit to Callahan, Coach Callahan, who's the offensive line coach, who's not here. So I'm kind of interested to see how that works. Because Callahan got him, he put his hands into him, put work into him, and made him into one of the, to me, a top tier guard in the NFL. Not to say he was the best guard, but one of the better guards in the NFL.
I mean,
And
he was a noteworthy guard because
exactly.
you can tell by the contract that he got. He was coveted during free agency. He was signed very quickly. So, I mean, he improved his play and
definitely.
that moved inside.
Yeah, definitely a very quality starter.
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming back here to DC, and it's not. You think about how he played when he was here, and chemistry and whatnot. But it's gonna be a little bit different because you don't have the same offensive line coach. Callahan's not here anymore, so now it's gonna be like, can he get that same rapport with the new regime?
For sure. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I mean, you still got Sheriff on the contract because of the franchise tag. We know what Big Moses does. We know that the center's pretty solid. So the whole right side of the line is pretty solid. Now he can come in and be a left guard and start fortifying the left side of the line. Still got some questions at left tackle, but that's expected when you lose a Hall of Fame level left tackle like Trent. So I think he helps the team because he's a good player. He's a decent to good player, and those type of players on an offensive line on a team that wants to run the football are always going to be valued.
Yeah. So I guess the next question for real is though, what does this mean for Brandon Sheriff? He didn't sign the franchise tag. This is the guy again. When Flowers was on the squad, you can say arguably he was the best guard on the team. That season he actually could have been the best guard on the team.
And a lot because Sheriff was there. So
Sheriff was like, he wasn't playing his best because like I said, he wasn't playing his best. And that you can contribute that to Morgan Moses going in and out. They had issues with that. Like I told you, they both play good together when those two are together. So the question is, like, does this give them leverage in terms of saying, you know what, if you don't sign this deal, maybe we're looking to trade you, or is this just more, you know what, we're going to play with this lineup in the season? Is there any kind of, can this impact them in any way when it comes to the Brandon Sheriff negotiations?
I mean, I don't think that's good football team making to get rid of an all-pro. Whether he plays with Moses or not, he's all-pro. He was your first-round draft pick. He was your first-round draft pick ahead of Ereck Flowers in the same draft.
Yeah.
Right. So, and Ereck Flowers can come back and do whatever he wants to do. Yeah. He doesn't play at the level of Brandon Sheriff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, his peak has not been as high as Brandon Sheriff's peak, right?
Totally agree.
And like if the team had any sense, they find a way to get that contract done with Sheriff. You have Ereck Flowers in the fold for the next 2 years at a good rate. I think he restructured his contract with Miami in order for Miami to take a chunk of that money, so that Miami taking a chunk of that money just to trade him, which gives me even more questions and more alarm because a team just necessarily did everything they could to get you out of here, and they're footing some of the bill to get you out of there. Yeah. So I think it's just another brick that they laid, to fortify that wall. And if they keep it as is, the whole right side is really, really good. Like everybody on the right side, from the center to the right tackle, is borderline elite or elite. And then if you start working the opposite direction, that's how you build a great team, right? Yeah. I think I've been saying that it's O-line or linebacker all off season, right? Yeah. So that, I think, depending on how the team's board is, I know the sexy pick is a linebacker, right? But we know that the trenches is where everything starts, right? If you guys can fortify, if the Washington football team can fortify the offensive line in the fashion that the D line is fortified, right? Let's say they grab somebody in this draft at the offensive tackle, I wouldn't even be mad at it because they'll be making an investment for the future and for Gibson also, and for any quarterback that they put back there, because we know that Gibson had his ups and downs with the run game last year and understanding what holes to hit and how to get there. And I think the more good players you have on the offensive line, the better your team is going to be, because eventually the game is a war of attrition, right? When you get into that fourth quarter, if your big boys are better than the other big boys, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna win knocking people off the ball.
Yeah, and that's what I guess that's what we're hoping with Sadiq Charles, what he can do for this ball club from LSU. So they're
Is he a
hoping
tackle though?
he's a tackle. He's a tackle. He's a
Is he a
tackle.
tackle though?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a tackle. They just played him in guard because they just needed somebody at guard at that particular time. He's a tackle.
Okay.
He's been geared to be the tackle, so he'll be the tackle. And they liked him a lot. They do like him a lot. They just wanted him to play.
So you don't need that.
Yeah, they just wanted him to play last year. They just tried to find a way to
Mm-hmm.
play for him to play last year. And once Wes Martin was just that bad, they were like, okay, well, we can just force you in and play you at guard. But he's gonna be my beliefs that he's gonna try out at tackle. If that was the case, I think that they wouldn't even try to get Ereck Flowers. They would have just moved Sadiq Charles to guard anyway. But he's going to play. My prediction, he'll play tackle. They don't have depth with Jerron Christian, who's not that good, but he'll be the backup swing tackle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be mean, but I'm just keeping it 100. That just he ain't the best tackle in the world. So, and to quote my man Mo from last week with Lake, he's a little soft on the backside. All right. So it is what it is. Yeah, now there you go. Use that term. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay. So but like you said though, it's never. I agree. You should stock up on the O-line and when you can, regardless that's in the draft or free agency, quality backups. A lot of times when teams are trying to solidify, when they think they're taking care of the offensive line, they're just signing anybody, right? Just for depth, but get quality guys who can do multiple things. I think that's what you need to do when you're building an offensive line. Like even Ereck Flowers is a prime example. Though he is horrible at tackle, right? He's horrible at tackle. He did play tackle. So somebody goes down, like you can try to play him at tackle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
it's some versatility there.
He's a versatility there, right? So because it's a familiarity with the position. So you can do that. So
and hopefully, over the years and getting better at guard can make translate to over. I mean, translate a little bit.
I may a little bit. Just say for Brandon Sheriff, he was a tackle in college, right? So you have some versatility to a point where this guy has played this position before one way or the other. So there's some things you can do with it. So I'm a big fan of, like, if you're going to bring in offensive linemen who are going to be backups, let them have some versatility. Same thing for Sadiq Charles, right? Sadiq Charles is a tackle, but because last season they wanted him to play, they gave him an opportunity to play some guard. You know what I mean? So, so there's some versatility now that what they're building within their own line, which kind of helps, in the grand scheme of things. It helps for roster breakdowns, right? So when you're doing roster cuts, you can say, oh, this guy plays multiple positions. Now I can keep an extra wide receiver, or I can keep an extra running back or whatever. So it kind of gives them some little wiggle room when we're talking about, building their roster. You're listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene. So we've been talking. So in terms of, I'm gonna stay on Ereck Flowers before we go to the next segment. So if Ereck Flowers, how would you rate this offensive line if it's a Sadiq Charles? Say Sadiq Charles doesn't have any issues with, because it's basically on some weed stuff. So say Sadiq Charles doesn't have any weed issues. And my man Ereck Flowers, you got Roulier at center, you got Sheriff is still with the Washington football team, and then you got Morgan Moses. Is this a suitable offensive line for this football team?
I mean, absolutely. Even with Sadiq Charles being a question mark at the left tackle, the offensive line is very suitable. It is, when healthy, it is probably the best offensive line in the division. That's saying a lot because of Dallas's history.
Yeah, I know.
Dallas's players have been hurt, right? Like, true.
That because of injuries. Yeah,
injuries. So like we're talking about, Tyron Smith hasn't been himself. Lyle Collins didn't play last year, so I mean, Dallas gets it in name. Yeah. If you're looking at the players, you have an All-Pro. You have Morgan Moses, who's steady Eddie every day. Roulier just re-upped the contract, shows that they believe in him. Ereck Flowers, it sucks when you have your best season and then that's the year that you choose to go elsewhere. So
I agree.
We don't know whether if it's continuity or if it's, so like, he was probably better suited in staying here, right? Sure. But we understand you have to go get paid.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing if Ereck Flowers can get back to form, even though the offensive line coach is gone, but he's still playing around the players that were there when he was there, right? And if if for anything else, that camaraderie between them, that rapport between them can they can catch him up, they can get him up to speed, essentially, right? They can get him up to speed because he knows what they expect because he's played with them already. Even though under a new coaching staff, once he gets into this playbook and gets his head down and gets to work, he's talented, man. He's talented. He's a big guy that can move. He didn't work out at the tackle, and that's the beautiful thing about being an offensive lineman that's athletic. You can get bumped down, right? You can get bumped down, and now your athleticism can really show because we didn't know that he could pull the way he could pull.
Yes,
right?
True.
We didn't know that he can get to that second level the way that he was getting to that second level in the run game. And, and as a guard, you're protected somewhat because you have somebody on the outside of you and somebody on the inside of you, right?
Yes.
It's hard to mess that up. So with his liabilities that he had as a tackle, you move that skill set inside in more tight quarters. And he's a mauler.
Yes.
That's what he is. He's a mauler. Just call it what it is. He's a plower. He gets inside. He's in close quarters. He gets them hands on you. You're not going anywhere. It's just what it is. And that's why he looks a lot better at guard than at tackle. So I think y'all are in good shape in terms of the offensive line. It's going to be on Sadiq Charles.
It really is. I think so.
Yeah, to catch up to the rest of the line. And if he can give them anything like a middle of the pack type of tackle, then the offensive line is in a good position. You got guys that can get off the ball and guys that can get to the second level. It's going to open some holes for your running backs in the screen game and all that. So it should pan out the way that we know that Scott likes to run this offense based off of what we've seen in Carolina.
Yeah, and Mo, because you're a football coach, so you know how important it is to make sure the quality of your left tackle is strong, so your guard doesn't have to do so much work and vice versa. So I think it's essential for Sadiq Charles to step up so it can make life easier for Flowers. You know what I mean? I think if Sadiq Charles struggles, then that's going to hinder Flowers, right?
Yep. That's a fact. I mean, they all play off each other.
Yeah.
And he's coming off an up and down year in Miami. So you want to make sure that that left tackle is solidified. And that's the same issue he had last year. He had a young left tackle in Miami who was up and down, and it made him look up and down. And overall, they're a young team anyway.
Yeah.
So in Miami, where the Washington football team has a lot more veteran presence on the line, and they can come together, man. I want to see how they gel. It's going to be interesting to see. I know he has some rapport with Fitzmagic from their time down there. So
definitely. They do.
I think the playbook should be all right when you're used to protecting that quarterback.
What's draft time, bro?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Topic of the hour.
Yeah, you know it, bro.
Topic of the hour, number 19, baby.
Yeah, number 19 pick.
I'm gonna turn this around on you.
All right, go ahead, bro.
What's the football team gonna do at 19?
I think all they can do is go linebacker, bro. I see what people talk. I understand what people are going with cornerback. I think it depends on what the cornerback slips in the draft. I heard some people have like Newsome or what. I'm not. It to me, it has to be.
He's not the one that you want to go for.
Yeah, exactly. You dig what I'm saying? Like it gotta be Horn, son. It gotta be Horn, son. It gotta be a certain. We gotta talk. Then we can talk. Just then we can think about it. The same thing about depending on what tackle. All right, we're talking offensive tackles. You just can't say, they're going to get a tackle. It's got to be the tackle, right? You know what I'm saying? It's got to be the tackle because at linebacker, they're going to be dudes that you can be happy with every which way that can slip to 19. There could be a linebacker, you know what I'm saying? So, or if you want to be greedy, if somebody's slipping in this draft, you can they get to a certain point that you can trade up. So like, and I'm not talking about something extreme. I'm saying somebody slips to like 14, 15. You can kind of be like, all right, we can.
Let me go get him.
Let me go get him. So I feel like linebacker is the key because Mo, we know this. You know, what made the Ravens defense so trill? With
backers, man.
Yeah, right. The backers, right? What made the San Francisco 49ers defense emerge when they were dormant?
52 and 53.
Yeah, exactly. So and they've always drafted well on the defensive front, right? They've always look at Seattle. What made that defensive line, that front seven vicious? You know what I'm saying? Like that speed, them speeding within the linebacker, doing that linebacker situation. So the Washington football team has needed dudes who can go sideline to sideline. Mm-hmm. So you got a couple.
I mean, this coaching staff has had a history of drafting linebackers in the first round. So and relying heavily on Thomas Davis in their previous stomping grounds, right? Yes. And we was hoping for a little bit of that last year, except for, I think Father Time got to him.
It was.
Yeah, Father Time got to him eventually. But, this coaching staff has a history of going linebackers, so I'm not surprised. They have a history of going linebackers that other people don't see.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
My only thing about 19, I mean, don't get me wrong, Luke Key, you had to have him, right? But Witherspoon from he wasn't, playing a safety in college and a safety and part-time running back, and then they're moving him to the wheel linebacker, and him having a solid career to this date. You know what I mean? A lot of that could be used on this team. Like I say, it's going to be interesting. I think I go back to the common problem that GMs always have. Do you go with best available, or do you go with the biggest need that you have on your team, right?
That's true.
And like we know, the linebacker is a big need. But I'm sitting there. If I'm sitting there, what if like Farley falls? What if like Farley from Virginia Tech falls? Last year consensus almost top corner in the draft.
Yeah.
That's fair. If not for back issues and sitting out, he's right there. But like you see, he tested well, right? He tested well. Definitely. He has good film, right? Yeah. Now, what if the tackle from USC?
I agree with that. I agree.
Right?
With that. I agree.
Like now, even though linebacker is the need, right? Even though linebacker is the need, do you want to jump out there, right? Do you want to jump out there? Because any other linebacker but Zaven Collins at 19 is going to be a reach. I know about the kid from Kentucky. I like him a lot. I think it's Jaron. What's his name?
It's Jaron. You're right. It's Jaron. I want to say Jones, but not Jones.
It's something.
I believe it. I know because I know who it is. Hold on, I'll pull it up. Go ahead, though.
The kid from Kentucky.
Yeah.
So the kid from Kentucky, let's say he's there. He's a good player, no doubt. Right? I don't want to be at 19 saying that my D-line is going to make him a better player than he is, right? And I'm drafting him. I want him to be the guy, and he just happens to be there at 19, right?
Yeah. So Jermaine Davis.
Yep. Like the kid can play. He can play. He's solid, and he's fast, and he tested well, and it looks good. But like coming into this process, he wasn't that high up on the boards. But now the teams need linebackers.
He's gonna be on his board. Yeah,
it's on the board, right? And like he's gained some momentum. So I'm interested in seeing if they're gonna go with need or if they're gonna go with best player available at that time, because we're not playing Madden, right?
No,
so we're not playing Madden, right? So you have to understand where you are in relation to the next players at that position. And if you can then go get somebody, right? Because in the second round, there's going to be like a Dylan Moses. There's going to be some linebackers there.
Jermaine Davis could be in the second round for real. Jermaine Davis could be in the second round.
For real,
it's very possible. It's very possible.
Right. For real, he could be. But like people jump on scheme fit rather than quality of player. Now, if it's Micah Parsons falling at 19 and you have you
got no choice.
If Micah Parsons at 15, you got to go get him.
You got to go get him. Yeah, I agree.
You got to go get him. Don't get me wrong. Like that's a top 5 player coming into the draft, right? Before the quarterback trades in the beginning, he's a top 5 player.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree.
He's better than 2 of the quarterbacks for sure.
Yeah, we're talking about the best player available. It's probably 1-2 with him. The Oregon dude, the Oregon offensive line tackle could be in that list.
Penny Sewell.
Best. Yeah. So yes, I'm with and Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is probably those 3. Yeah, those. Yeah.
Right. And then like Surtain maybe next, right? So, but we know quarterbacks get precedent, right? Yeah. Quarterback, then people start moving up and they start messing up the draft. Look back to it reminds me of the Chicago Bears when they moved up one position and traded away the future for Mitch Trubisky when they could have sat right there and just took Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
So people are going to mess up the draft, and because of people trying to force, don't force squares into circles. Don't force circles into squares. So I'm very interested in which way they go. I think there's going to be a lot of movement at the top of the draft. I think there's going to be a lot of movement into the top 15. So I'm interested in seeing if the football. I even read reports earlier that the football team has laid the groundwork for a trade into the top 10. So and if I know what I know. If I know what I think that sounds like if they get that top 10 pick, it's Michael Parsons.
Yeah, I think it's Michael Parsons. I think he's in love with Michael Parsons. I think they're in love with him.
It's Michael Parsons, if that's the case.
I think because well, let me go back to something you said. I think is totally. I think you're spot on. One that I think at 19 you get the best player available. I'm a big believer in that. That could be a wide receiver. I mean, they're talking about the best player available.
Whatever.
Because at 19, because I think the position of linebacker, to your point, you can, if it's not, say they like Xavier Collins.
Not the top two.
Yeah, say they like
the top two is Xavier Collins.
Yeah, say it's not Xavier Collins. But in the end of the day, like say for instance, you got Xavier, you have Collins, and then you have and this because I'm a Waddle fan, but you get Waddle in the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking Waddle. Like, I'm gonna be real. I'm taking Waddle because we're doing grades, right? Because again, we're grading out who's the better player. Like, you didn't think you was going to get this guy, but you got this guy. It's the same like for Washington. Like, they didn't think they were going to get Jonathan Allen in that draft. They didn't think they were going to get him. Due to health concerns, that he just fell in their lap. Like, oh, we're getting Jonathan Allen, right?
You gotta have him.
You gotta have him. So it's the same thing applies to your point. I totally agree with you. I think once you get to that particular point in the draft where you're lucky to get that type of player, you got to go ahead and just take them. You just got to take them because and I heard something earlier. I don't know. I forgot who I heard it from, but I totally agree with this and this point because to your point, people are going so quarterback crazy, right? You're going to get, and then people are now trying to feed the offense, right? It's all we're going to feed the offense, like everything. Like we'll take a tackle early, even though the tackle is not even ready to start, or we'll do this. There are going to be some dogs that go into later rounds. I'm talking about the later first rounds. There will be some dudes where you're going to say to yourself, "Yo, how did he slip to us?" Right?
Indeed.
So what I mean. So to your point, like even a Micah Parsons, I think you gotta be a dumb GM to let that dude slip past the top 10. I'm just sorry, like that's what it is. You gotta be a dumb GM. You gotta be a fool, man. Yeah, gotta be a fool. But there are certain but I get like certain teams. We talked about it offline, but like say if Michael Parsons slips to like the Cowboys, right? I can see like the Cowboys is a situation where I can see. Because Patrick Surtain's son is that good, like he's official, like he a beast, right. And the Cowboys secondary is so weak, right? And they have, at least regard. I mean, I know we all know that other like their linebacker core
and Jalen Smith,
their linebacking core is pretty.
Sean Lee just retired though.
But they're pretty solid, right? Like they're pretty solid, but they're weak. They're weak, like they're weak in the secondary. Like they're weak in the secondary. So you add that with Diggs' brother, who to me I thought he showed promise. You got two young dudes that you can kind of rock with, or you get Joe Horn's son. Like you got guys you can rock with. So I can see them like passing on to Parsons. I can see it. Though I mean, I can see them taking Parsons. I can definitely see them taking Parsons, but I can see them passing on.
Right.
But after that, that's where it needs to stop. That's where it needs to stop, right?
Hey, so let me tell you what, it can stop right at number 11. Okay?
It's serious. No, real talk. Even there,
it can stop right at number 11.
Seriously. Like, or even in Philly, because the NFC East it's there. Like you gotta roll it. He shouldn't get past. To me, he shouldn't even get past the NFC East. That's a whole different discussion. But he shouldn't.
He can stop right at 11. I don't care. I don't want to see him I don't want to see him at 12.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him at 12.
I'm telling you,
number 11 seems good to me.
Yeah, once you get that type of talent, it is what it is, man. So I feel like Washington will get an opportunity to get somebody who they weren't supposed to get because like what Atlanta trying to trade. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta trying to trade.
It's going to be 5 quarterbacks. It's going to be 5 quarterbacks.
Which it shouldn't be, but it could be.
It's going to be 5 in the top 10.
Yeah. Which, all right, so I had this discussion with my brother, and I told him, but you know what? For real talk, I had to like think this to myself. Every year, though, they do this crap, though. Like every year. So, and it's always somebody who slipped, like thoroughly. Like, you know what I mean? Every year they say we're gonna have like 5 some odd quarterbacks, and every year somebody doesn't pull the trigger, and they say, you know what, nah, we ain't gonna do it, and then that quarterback slips. What quarterbacks that's going to be, I'm not sure. It should be Matt. It should be Jones, but I'm not sure.
I think it changes this year though.
Okay.
So we know the first two. So we know Trevor. We know Zach Wilson.
Shouldn't be Zach Wilson.
Now, if San Francisco, I don't know if San Francisco is blowing smoke.
Somebody blowing smoke.
I don't know if they're blowing smoke about Mac Jones or Trey Lance, whatever is happening.
Somebody blowing smoke.
Let's say they take one of the two.
Yeah.
They take one of the two.
They're taking the quarterback. I do know they're taking the quarterback. I know that we all know they're taking
absolutely. I don't know if this is a smoke screen so that I don't know why it would need to be a smoke screen though. They're the third pick. They know who the first two quarterbacks are.
Easily. Everybody knows. Right? Yeah. So I don't know. So, and they traded to get there. So it's not like they're trying to get another offer. I know. I'm with you.
Exactly. So nobody can get in front of them.
Yeah.
Nobody can get in front of them.
They already got a guy in mind that they want. They already know who they want. Pretty much they know who they want. They know who they want.
If the rumors are true that Justin Fields is the one that's going to slip, that's going to begin. I don't think he's going to slip far, though. Let me tell you why I don't think he's going to slip far. Oakland would trade for him in a heartbeat. You know how John Gruden is.
I know. John
Gruden messed up the whole first round of the draft.
Nah, I think he's going to slip. I think he's going to slip for real.
He's not.
Sorry, man. John. I know you're talking about. He's quarterback crazy. He is quarterback crazy. I agree. He's quarterback crazy,
man. If Trey Lance or Justin Fields is there, there's three teams that are instantly in contention now. You have to think about the Patriots coming.
That's who I think. I think the Patriots.
You got to think about the Patriots coming to get somebody.
Yeah, I think
the Raiders are going to try to come get somebody because. They've been. I don't know why they feel this way about Derek Carr.
I like Derek Carr. You like Derek Carr? I like Derek Carr. I think they be tripping. I think they be tripping. They must know that they can have much worse. They don't understand they can have much worse.
The year that Eli Manning, there was somebody getting rid of Eli Manning before we drafted Danny. I was like, we might as well just trade for David Carr then.
Derek
Carr has a big arm. He could have came played up there.
Derek is a beast, dog.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr I wanted him to be here. I actually thought he'd be fine here. I like Derek Carr.
1,000-yard, 25 touchdown pass.
That year, do you know how hard it is to be an MVP candidate? That year when he broke his leg, that year when him and Mari was hooking up. Come on, man. The worst thing happened to him is that like that injury happened, and then honestly, people love this dude. Having John Gruden too kind of can mess you up on a low, but that's all different. That's a whole different discussion. But
so let's say if at least 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10, then you have Kyle Pitts, you have Penny Sewell, right?
Yeah.
You have the 2 corners, Micah Parsons. That's 9 players already. Yeah. That leaves Rashawn Slater. That leaves Waddle.
We ain't even talking about it. We ain't talking about Chase.
We didn't say nothing about the receivers yet.
Who you got 3 to 4 dudes that. And that's what I'm saying. Somebody going to slip. That's
why I believe there's going to be a lot of movement.
There's going to
be a lot of movement.
I agree.
Because people are going to start looking at it and start panicking. They're going to jump out there and try to get their player.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's what I'm going to tell Washington fans, like real talk. I mean, I know everybody's happy, they're ecstatic, with getting Samuel out of, from Carolina and, getting Humphrey. I mean, they say, oh, yeah, we're good. But I'm telling you, Jalen Waddle or Smith is there.
Jalen Waddle
is there. I'm telling you, they're there.
Waddle.
You gotta. I'm sorry. You just gotta take it. You just gotta do it. You gotta do it. Look, man. Look, I'm gonna tell fans who listening, bro. Like real talk. Do you think when Denny Smith saw Randy Moss, do you think he looked and said, "We got Chris Carter and Jake Reed. We don't need Randy Moss." You think he said no? That he said, "Know what? We can add Randy to this. Like we can have something special." Chris Carter won't see a double team ever in his life. Jake Reed will still be a dude that can get you 7 in the red zone, get you 6 in the red zone, or still make big plays over the middle, and still have big explosive plays. And we already know. I mean, and Randy is going to be Mr. Highlight Reel. Like, and we have Robert Smith in the backfield. You think he was worried about? Now you know what? He's gonna hurt. I mean, he's gonna hurt. We already have enough. What's that? That's just too much. Nah, man, you got a dog. You get a dog. So to my man Mo's point, and to even offensive lineman, I'm a gonna fall back offensive line and cornerback. If you get if a guy slips to you that you're not supposed to get, I'm not gonna be like, hey, Jimmy Moreland, you had a great year, bro. Like
Jimmy Moreland, I'm sorry, buddy.
Sorry, but
you gotta slide over.
You got Horns here.
You gotta slide over.
Horn is here. Like if you
you know what's crazy about Horn? Out of all the top corners, Horn tested the best.
Yeah, I know. He's like, I know. Believe me, I know. He's
like
the one
leaps and bounds the best.
No, people are saying like he can go pat before Surtain. It's for real.
Man.
Like I'm saying. So I'm saying, like, to your point, and even that, like, you know what? There's some things you can play around with. Now, all right. So to your point, if they do good cornerback, say a Surtain or say a Horn slips, right, and they go cornerback, like you can knock, you can hit your man, hit up my man, at a moment. What's my cornerback's name? Fuller. Thank you. You can hit Fuller, say, Fuller, hey bro, you play some safety in Kansas City a little bit. You play a little safety. You did, didn't you? You know what? Some packages we may have you in safety.
Right.
We may have you play some safety.
You also were great in the slot when you were here.
And you great in the slot, yeah. And I've always said that, like, when you get a guy to me, when you get a guy as good as what we are talking about in Horn and Surtain, I want them on the field, even in base coverage situations. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm keeping it buck.
Coming on.
Yeah, I'm just being real. When you got guys that good and that talented, and no knock on Fuller, but I'm saying in that situation, then you know what? You just say, Fuller, hey, kick out the safety real quick for this joint.
For something, you can be our honey badger.
Yeah, you can be our honey badger, because it gets to a point where when you got a guy, those are guys. There's difference, there's different grades in talent. Again, this is not a knock on Fuller. Fuller is good. Like, he made some big plays. He's a good cornerback. Like, I don't want to say like he's a good cornerback. But there's a difference between being good and having the ability to be elite. There's a difference. Like, when we're talking about, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying shut down. I don't like saying shut down.
Is higher, that's all.
Yeah, I don't want to say shut down, because I think shut down, people use shut down too much. To be elite, that's different. Shut down is special. That's a special kind of ceiling.
The ceiling is different, man.
Yeah, it's just different.
The ceiling is different.
So yeah, if you got an opportunity to get a guy like that, then yeah, definitely. But I just still think the weakness of this squad is definitely linebacker. So they can get it. When we talk about trade, the thing that gets me is we talk about trading up to get something. People say quarterback. Nah, you don't trade for the quarterback. Screw the quarterback. You want to trade up? Like, we talking about a player to trade up. It's got to be the one that was in Penn State. Like, that's the only trade about I think Washington fans need to talk about. Like, I don't want to hear about it. And I like Trey Lance. I want people to know I personally like Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is better than the kid that's going to the Jets. I think he's better than him. I think Trey Lance is gonna have a better career than him. I'm sorry. I'm Zach Wilson. I'm sorry. All my Zach Wilson fans who listen to the show.
I mean, he's going to the Jets, man. You don't have to apologize for nothing. He's going to the Jets.
So you already know what's going to happen to his career. So Mo and I already know what's going to happen to his career. And then what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. He's a Jet. So y'all can take that with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like the only player that they should be talking about, trading up. And I'm not nothing to do no RG3 type of trade, but I'm saying trading up is Micah Parsons. I don't even care. Like, everybody else doesn't even matter in terms of, like, dude, we're talking about you trying to get somebody. Parsons, it's Micah Parsons.
If you put Micah Parsons in the middle of that defensive line, I mean, in the middle of that defense with that defensive line, Jesus Christ. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the missing piece, bro. It's like a missing piece. Even we talk about Xavier Collins, like, that's a good fit. I mean, he's good. He could be a missing piece.
He's a good player. He's a solid player. He's not as explosive, but he's a solid player.
He's not Micah. I mean, there's different levels. Like, Ray Lewis is great, Hall of Fame, awesome, best linebacker in the game when he was in there. But Brian Urlacher was good. He was good at his time. Like, he was a great player.
Brian Urlacher's a Hall of Fame in his own right.
No, this is not Michael Brian Urlacher. He's not Ray. He's not Ray, but he was awesome.
That's true.
So I'm saying, like, so Xavier, you good. You good. I'm not saying you can't be awesome. You're awesome. We talking about Micah Parsons. That's a whole different. That's a different animal. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to trade, there's a reason why Micah, like you said, Mo, there's a reason why Micah Parsons would have been all this, hyping up, hooping and hollering about, whatever quarterbacks and this, that, and the other. He would be a top 5 pick. You know what I'm saying? He would be a top 5 pick. Collins was always slated where he's at. He still could be an impact player. Mm-hmm. We've seen multiple impact
top
players.
25,
yeah, we've seen multiple impact players, and like I'm a Michigan fan. Bush out of Michigan.
Devin Bush.
Yeah, Devin Bush out of Michigan was like a later round, like he's a first rounder, but he wasn't in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? So you can get a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? So they can definitely get a guy to hold down the middle linebacker situation.
And play well for a long time.
Play well for a long time.
You know, it's not a transcendent talent. Mike is a transcendent talent.
Exactly. Definitely. So other than we just talked about, you know, middle linebackers and whatnot, what are some of the players in the second and later rounds that this team should probably try to target? That will probably.
You just got to fill it. You got to fill out the rest of the roster, man. You got to fill out the rest of the roster. I believe in depth. You know what I mean? Like I know in that second round, a lot of people like Reeves, but I think that, you know, that's a place that you can try to go get you a young safety that can play on the other side of Cam Curl. I think that's another. I think if you fill out that free safety position, if you get a linebacker and you fill out that free safety position within the first 3 rounds, or somebody that can just come in and play football, you know, I think the team is in. You got to understand. You got Will Jackson. He's a good man, press man corner. Yeah. You got Will. You got Fuller. Yeah. Fuller's been a good solid corner. You know what I mean? Depending if you let's say you add that linebacker in the first round, now you have somebody in the middle that the D-line is already causing havoc. Now you have a player on each level of the defense, right? Yeah. When you go to offense, there's not too many holes. Can they be upgrades? Absolutely. But Sadiq Charles seems to be the person that's going to play the left tackle unless you can find somebody better than him. Yeah. If somebody's better than him at 19, then you take them, right? Sadiq Charles just going to have to earn his keep, right? And that way you've done that, and you can still go. If it was me, I'm either going the best old lineman. If there's no linebacker, if the linebackers that I want is not there, I'm going the best old lineman or corner. I think Farley's going to fall. If that kid from Virginia Tech starts falling because of,
you think he'll fall away in the second round? They're gonna fall the second round?
If he falls to 19.
Oh yeah.
If he falls to 19, I like him at 19.
I love Virginia Tech cornerbacks. They always pan out. I love certain schools have good other cornerbacks.
Kid is 6'2". He's 200 pounds. He runs 4.3. He was good the year before.
No, Tech typically has good. They typically have good.
I think people are afraid about the back injury and all that kind of stuff. If he checks out medically and he's at 19, I take him. I take him. Now that you got Ereck Flowers, Sadiq Charles is going to be the tryout at the left tackle. I'm not going to worry about offensive. I'm not going to worry about left tackle right there in the second round. I'm going to try to go linebacker and straighten up my defense all across the board. Now my defense has a borderline Pro Bowl level talent at each level. Right? Second round, I'm going to try to give me a linebacker. You have Dylan Moses, you have Chad Surratt. I mean, hopefully the kid from I don't think the kid from Kentucky will make it out to the second round, to the 19th pick of the second round. If he falls to the second round, he'll go early, right? So, but then you got like Dylan Moses is heralded. Dylan Moses got offers to LSU and Alabama when he was 14 years old. You know, like this. I mean, he's been hurt at Alabama. Yeah. You guys have a history with Alabama, but he's a quality player. He knows the linebacker position. He's height, weight, speed. You have Chad Surratt. You have the kid from LSU. He's pretty solid also. And you got some linebackers that you can come in. They won't be elite, but with my thinking, if I get a premier corner and I solidify my secondary, right, even more, and my D line is already staunch, and I put like, let's say we're doing Madden ratings. I put a 79 to an 82 linebacker in the middle. Yeah, I'm in good shape because. Where he lacks, the back end has him and the front end has him.
No, I agree. Right? I think that, I'm with you. I think there's some players that.
Because those are the three main gaps. Main gaps. I mean, you can say that wide receiver may not be filled out, but you paid somebody $13 million.
You already paid a couple people. You already got.
You paid somebody $13 million. So like you can say, you can argue that you've taken care of that. Now, if you get that corner in the first round, you get that linebacker in the second round. All the needs are. And then Sadiq Charles is, and you got Ereck Flowers, so Sadiq Charles bumps out to the left. You got somebody that you feel good with in their position.
No, and I think that's a good way of looking at it. I think if they do go if they go linebacker and they go linebacker in the first round, right? And they get a linebacker. I think there are a couple of ways they can go with it. I think if they want to go cornerback, right? There's an opportunity there if he slips. Is Asante Samuel's son? He may be there in the second round.
I think he goes too early in the second round.
You think so?
At that point, I think
there's some mocks because there's some mocks they have him slipping. There's some mocks, not all, but you know how mocks are.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you know how the mocks do.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, Asante Samuel's son is a top 50 player in this draft.
I think so too. No, I think so. I think pedigree means a lot. I really do.
Right.
I think
he's a top 50 player in this draft. So that means by the numbers, he 32 plus 19 is what? 51? You just miss him.
You just miss him. But you trade up. But it's a guy that you can try to target, though. It's a guy you can try to target.
Right.
Asante Samuel's son. You can. I think to me,
somebody's gonna reach. So
it should. I mean, you would think. But we've seen some stranger things. I didn't think Aaron Rodgers was going to slip to where he did when I watched that draft. You would think that somebody was going to pick up whoever. But or even I mean, Lake mentioned it on our last show about getting a running back, and he's in the first round. But yeah, I'm running back in the second round. Again, like we mentioned it before, he's still Gibson had some breakout games, scored a lot of touchdowns. But in terms of the breakout games that he didn't have a lot of breakout games. He had a couple breakout games for real, like a couple yardage breakout games. Had a lot of touchdowns, but a couple of yardage games.
Three solid games.
3 games with over 100 yards. So he's still finding his way. And as much as everybody wants. Yeah, as much as people and Washington fans want to say like, oh, we got our running back. It's different, man. Like and I want to kind of pump brakes with people. Like it's different. When you got a guy, because that's a guy. If you got a guy, they getting 100 yards almost on everybody, and people have this fear about him. Like for instance, in Indy, you see Jonathan Taylor, you're like, yo, yeah, he's a guy. Like he a dude. And you see it because you saw it in the postseason. You just know, man. You just know.
But he was that guy in college. He's that guy in college.
Jonathan Taylor.
Year, man.
Jonathan Taylor, right? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I know this as a Michigan fan. I know this. So I'm just saying, like, So when a guy's still finding his way, again, he's played wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? And Mo, what's your quote again about people like Jordan Reed and my man Gibson? He played wide receiver, so he doesn't have what in the backside.
He don't got too much. He don't got enough rocks in his back.
Exactly.
Pocket,
so we don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's a wide receiver playing running back. So why not get an insurance policy? Huh?
He is 225.
He got to lose weight though. He even said he got to lose weight though, so he can get that speed back.
But his 225 doesn't translate like a running back because he doesn't run behind his pads.
He don't run like a running back. Like what I'm saying. He's still learning. He's still learning. He got better as the season went on, but he's still learning. You could see. You could tell, man. You could tell. So
what if you guys had a chance to get like Chuba Hubbard in the second round, man?
Yeah, you go for it.
Or one of those two guys from North Carolina.
North Carolina, I think so. Like I'm just being real. I think you take that chance because you saw how the running game was when he went down. I mean, I'm not saying like the running game wasn't great anyway, but you saw like what they wanted to do in terms of running football. It wasn't the same. Like they wanted to do certain things and they couldn't do it. So I feel like you gotta get a guy you gotta get a physical guy who can break the big one. Like it's very, I think, and I know that's kind of like not the big one in terms of like, not like Chubb, like because when I think about a big dude who's physical, like not like Chubb, because Chubb can break the big one and get you the tough ones at the same time.
Chubb is different, man.
He's different.
Chubb don't get enough credit, man.
Yeah, Chubb a beast. Chubb
is different, man. Yeah. He don't get enough credit.
Yeah, I agree. So
they talk about Saquon all the time being 235 and 230, 235 and can break the long run, and Chubb does it. And he don't get near the acclaim.
Nah, I agree. I think Chubb is a beast, dog. I seen it. I was like, yo, I didn't know he coming out of Georgia. I was like, yo, him and Sony Michel. I was like, yo, Sony Michel better than this dude. And then I was like, I looked at it. I was like, nah, I was wrong. I was wrong. But yeah, so
I'm wearing Tennessee gear right now.
Yeah.
I went and watched them Todd Gurley's last year there versus University of Tennessee. Nick Chubb went for like 115 as the backup.
He a beast, bro. Like he a beast. So I'm just saying, man. Get him back with physical style who can, get you them chunk yards in December. Because you mentioned this, and I totally believe this. One, you want a back that when in the fourth quarter you want to close it out. Like you don't want to get the ball back to the opposing offense, right? That's one. And then secondly, we play in the NFC East. It gets cold. You know what I'm saying?
It's cold.
And you would not. And this they don't play indoors. They don't play no dorm. I mean, not dorm, some dome. Excuse me. So
Except
why not
Dallas.
except for Dallas, whatever. So you want to get a bat that, you know what I mean, that can hold you down. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen this. One thing about this organization, this ball club, for years, they've had for them to be successful, they have had a guy that they can hand the ball off as the bell cow to bring it home. You know what I mean? From when they were to be successful. Other than the year, I guess you could say other than the year that Kirk Cousins took over, you can say whatever. But you know, with Griffin, it was Alfred Morris. Even a little bit way further than that, you had Stephen Davis. You had Ernest Miner before that. You had you know what I'm saying, Stephen Davis. Then you had Clinton Portis, CP. You know what I'm saying? You lean on these dudes because you understand that in the postseason they can hold it down for you. There's people talk about Tom Brady win a championship, but we forget that if it wasn't for that big boy in the backfield that was just holding that joint down for real from out of LSU, you know what I'm saying? Leonard Fournette, the people forget about. Yeah, like how he was closing stuff.
Corey Dillon did with him once.
Yeah, Corey Dillon too. And Corey Dillon back there.
Antoine Smith.
So like there's still room for dudes like that to close it down when you do get a lead to close it down. I'm not saying Gibson can't be that guy, but I just from what the small body of work for the you know what I'm saying, you don't see it. I haven't seen it yet. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it a buck. As much as we all praise his draft pick because coming being a later pick and doing what he was doing, scoring touchdowns, had some explosive plays. People fall in love with it, but you gotta look at the body of work, the totality of
talent, man.
The totality of talent. Yeah, but you gotta look at the totality of everything. Like, what did that do in terms of the entire season and what you want to do in the season? You know what I'm saying? So I think get it back. I would, to me, second round, I would definitely get it back. Like, and I would hope if it's a guy that can slip to him, that like the North Carolina dudes, for real talk.
One of them two might be there.
Take a play on it, man. I take a play on it.
Chuba Hubbard might be there. Chuba Hubbard might be there, and he led the nation in rushing about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good one too. You know what I'm saying? I know running backs kind of get illed on because nowadays people they can get running backs any which way, but there's still to me there's still something about getting a talented back. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a talented back, you take them. Screw all that. You know what I'm saying? So to me, Washington do that. Receiver, I mean, depending on what receiver, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the Washington.
Right. If there's a guy there,
I think tight end too. I'm sorry, tight end. I think tight end is an important position. They need to get situated.
But I think it's a weak tight end draft. Weak tight end draft to get what it is that you're looking for, right?
Yeah, that's true. So you may want to look for a project. Looking at a project in the fourth round.
So you might as well use a later round pick on that. If it turns out to be something, so be it. If not, he can be that. Logan does need some help in blocking. So
I think Logan Thomas is. I mean, to me, Logan Thomas blocks well better than the prior tight ends that this team has had. Logan Thomas, to me, his issue is like he's gonna have to drop some weight. I think one he just dropped weight, and because he don't have his agility, he's got to work on it. It's funny for a mobile quarterback, his agility is kind of iffy. He doesn't have any.
I mean, but for a quarterback, he was mobile. You know
what I'm saying?
For a quarterback, he was mobile.
That's what I'm saying.
When you're a tight end,
not even just being mobile. All right. So there's a difference between being like he's I mean, he all right, but he ain't.
But you gotta understand,
he awkward. Put it that way.
He is awkward, but you gotta understand, a 6'6" quarterback that runs
is different.
Looks a lot different.
I agree. No, I agree. Because for instance, like a 6'6" quarterback, like for instance, like Terrell Pryor was like 6'4", but
Terrell Pryor was like Terrell Pryor. He's an athlete. He's
an athlete. Exactly. So I agree. Like he's an athlete. So I'm thinking
he's an athlete playing quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Totally facts. All facts. So I'm like, when I'm looking at Logan Thomas, I'm like, you just don't have, like, all right, for instance, like Travis Kelce, right? He got wiggle. He got some wiggle to him. Yeah. Logan Thomas don't got no wiggle. Logan Thomas don't got no wiggle. It's like straight ahead, all straight ahead. You know what I'm saying? You catch it, you go down, you find the spot, whatever.
He's not fluid. That's what it is. He's not fluid.
That's what I'm looking for.
He's not. Bruce Lee say it to be like water.
Yeah, like water. Fluid like water. So he don't got that. So, but yeah, some of these, I think I'm to your point though. I think you're totally right. They should, because this is not a strong tight end draft class, that they can kind of look at a tight end maybe as a project, maybe a project in the 4th, 5th round, something like that. But I think running back, I think if they're looking to target a position, running back in the 2nd round, I think they should definitely look hard into it. Something different from what they have. I think it's good to have something different.
If we just go back and think of the holes that we thought the team had, right?
Yeah.
Like tackle was one of them.
Yeah.
But the addition of Ereck Flowers has just now made Sadiq Charles now a viable option on the outside with another year in the system and another year of maturity and whatnot. True. So left tackle is gone. The next one was linebacker.
But you can still go for depth though. You can still try one for depth.
You could, but like you have other holes.
True.
You have other holes that you can go get, right? And we can't trust Sadiq Charles, but if the guy that you want is not there, then you go help your football team in another way.
Yeah, so that's true.
So the precedence on the left tackle has just went down a little bit. So left tackle probably went from like 1st or 2nd second priority on the team to now probably 3rd. Linebacker's still there. So now if you can't get your linebacker and you end up getting Farley, the corner, or a good player falls to you, right, that you like, you take them, right? You take them.
A linebacker 2nd.
Running back ain't a priority. You can use one, but it's not a priority. I think that's a luxury pick.
It is.
It's a luxury pick. You can find a good running back in the 4th.
You can. You can.
Because any running back that comes is not going to take Gibson's job.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Since they're not going to take Gibson's job, I don't need the best running back. I just need a quality one that can come in and play.
Very good point, man. Very good.
So running back now falls to like the 4th priority on the team. That leaves corner, linebacker, corner, however you want to look at it. And that's why I said, like, either one that you take in the 1st, you go back.
You get the opposite.
Yeah, you get the opposite in the 2nd, and you fortified your team all the way because wide receiver will be on that list until you went and got Curtis Samuel. For the pure fact that you gave Curtis Samuel $13 million,
that money,
wide receiver has to fall all the way down.
It has to fall off.
Right, wide receiver has to fall off, and then you sign Humphreys on the other side behind that, right? You still got Cam Sims, who can still develop a little bit more, right? I know. I know. I'm just saying. Now, like you said, Wole, if it's a player like Waddle or Devontae Smith, you take it and you close your eyes and you don't care about it.
You don't care about it. You sleep good. You don't care about it. You sleep good.
Oh, even I would sleep good with that pick.
Exactly. You just take it. You be like,
I'm like, you know what? I can't blame them for that.
Yeah.
So now, if it's not one of those guys, you don't go reaching for a receiver just to get one like Elijah Moore or Rondale Moore. You don't just do that. So you let that go. So I'm just looking at how when we look at the list that we originally thought, like they needed a lineman, they needed a linebacker, they could have used a corner, maybe a running back. But with the moves that have come in the offseason, things have started to take form. Yeah. So now, if you can get one of them top tackles, you do it.
Yeah.
If you get one of them top corners, you do it. Or one top linebacker, you do it. Outside of that, things have adjusted. You know what I mean? Things have adjusted. So like, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do tomorrow, man. And we can sit here and talk about it all day till we blue in the face. Beautiful thing is, by this time tomorrow night, we'll know who it is.
Exactly. We'll know the direction. We'll have a good idea where they're gonna go. Hey, man, appreciate everybody.
10:30 tomorrow.
You already know
who the pick is.
You already know. Time to close this joint out. Me and Mo had a dope conversation about this. Hey, Thursday night, man, goes down. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search all Burgundy and Gold, everything with the Urban Sports Scene. Also, tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. You've been listening to all Burgundy and Gold, everything with the Urban Sports Scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, Mega. Lead us out, big homie.
Peace.